So, first question is, what is slope? It's right there in the middle of your paper. You're going to put slope describes the steepness of a line. We write it as the change in y over the change in x. This little triangle means change. Or we represent it as rise over run. So we can see steepness in a lot of things like roller coasters. That first incline has a slope, how steep it is. Stairs also have steepness and slope. And also ski hills, ski slopes. That's why we call them ski slopes, because they have a slope. A black diamond is steeper than the bunny hill. From a table, this is one way we can find slope. So first we're going to find the change of the x and y values and write the slope as change in y over change in x. So in the first table, I want you to fill in x and y values. X values of 1, 2, 3, 4, and y values of 2, 4, 6, 8. Now, to find the change of the x values, we look at how do we get from 1 to 2? Well, we add 1. How do we get from 2 to 3? We add 1. How do we get from 3 to 4? Add 1. That's our change in x. So our change in x is adding 1. Our change in y, then, is how we get from 2 to 4. Add 2. How do we get from 4 to 6? Add 2. How do we get from 6 to 8? Again, we add 2. So that is our change in y. So to write our slope for this table, we write the change in y over the change in x. Well, our change in y is 2 over our change in x, 1. So our slope is 2 over 1, or we could just say our slope is 2. For our second table, let's fill in the x and y values. For x, let's do 0, 2, 4, and 6. For y, negative 5, negative 10, negative 15, and negative 20. Again, we need to find our change in our x values and our change in our y values. So how do we get from one x value to the next? Add 2, add 2, add 2. So our change in x is adding 2. To get from one y value to the next y value, however, we're not adding because we're going down. Negative 5 to negative 10 is a minus 5. Negative 10 to negative 15 is a minus 5. And negative 15 to negative 20 is minus 5. So we write our slope as our change in y over our change in x. Our change in y is minus 5, so we put negative 5. Our change in x is positive 2. So this slope would be a negative 5 halves. You will see fractions in slope fairly often, so don't be afraid of those fractions, and make sure you mark it as a negative slope going down the mountain. Next piece is from a graph. So the steps for finding slope from a graph are to first choose 2 points on the line. Then we're going to count the rise, how much we go up or down, and then count the run, how much we go left or right, and write the slope as rise over run. Rise over run. So for this line, we're going to plot the coordinates 0, 2, 2, 5. We'll do -2, -1, and 4, 8. Go ahead and plot those points on your graph. So -2, -1 is here. 0, 2 is here. 2, 5 is there. And 4, 8 is right here. That makes a nice pretty line. Now we need to choose 2 of our points. It doesn't matter which 2, but we want to choose 2 of these points. So I'm going to choose this point and this point. And then we want to count the rise, how much we go up, and the run. So we're going to make what's called a slope triangle. We're going to go all the way up from this bottom point to where we meet the top point, and then go over. Now we want to count how much we went up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We went up 6 times. And then how much we run, how much we go over. We went 1, 2, 3, 4. So our rise is 6, and our run is 4. So our slope is 6 over 4. However, we do want to write our slope in simplest form, which means we need to reduce our fraction. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. Divide 6 by 2 and divide 4 by 2. So the slope of this line is 3 over 2. And if we look at the line, we're going up the mountain. It is a positive slope, so we can leave it as a positive 3 over 2. All right, now you're going to take a break and complete the 4.4 IXL practice posted in Schoology. After that, then you can continue taking your notes on the note sheet.